All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. So, Brother Isaiah from the GMS Rally, GMS North Carolina camp back when the Lord is on the edifying lesson. Before we go any further, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakwakodash. The honors the apostles and those of the great millstone for teaching us, the words and truth according to the Bible well. And peace and blessings so select at the nation of Israel. Say through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai. Today's title is going to be something that was on my spirit maybe a few days ago. Forward, always forward. You've heard that saying before. You know, there is no in turns looking back. We what we have gone through, in this walk of ours has made us who we are today. There's nothing to take away from it. Or it's all the will of Yahweh Shema Shai, and the only thing we can keep doing, is moving forward, and working towards the salvation that is promised unto those that would endure to the end, the elect of Yahweh Shema Shai. And here in Matthew, the 7th chapter, starting at the 13th verse, it says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate." So it says to enter ye in at the straight gate. We look at this word straight, it says a narrow, right? So when you are driving down the road, and you come down, maybe a street, that's kind of tight, got cars parked on one side. It's a narrow. It's narrow. It's straight. It's difficult. It's a difficult path. And anything worth doing is going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, right? Because it's going to pay off in the end. It says a straight is a body, is a water connecting to a straight is a water body connecting two seas or two basins, while the landform generally constricts the flow, right? So instead of the water flowing easily, there's something in its way, right? And we're going to constantly run into hurdles, constantly run into opposition, that's going to constrict your way, it's going to try to hinder your growth, it's going to try to slow you down, or weigh you down in this truth. It says a narrow passage of water connecting two seas, channel straight, used to be a path of difficulty. It says causing, right, it says right here, it says causing distress, difficult. So a straight, or something that, when something is straight, it's enclosed or tight manner. It's tight. It's a hard path. It's not a wide path. It's not an easy path. It doesn't flow. It doesn't flow easily, right? And Yahweh Shema Shai is constantly testing us, constantly putting us through the ringer, as we are marching towards the kingdom of heaven. When we read here, once again, Matthew 7 and 13, it says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate," right? It's always spirits on these people. It says, and that's how you know we're at the end of this thing. The spirits that are on these people, to hop on these people while you're at the job, to hop on these people while you're at the grocery store, to try to make it to where, your patience, is toppled over. No, we're going to stand strong in our patience. We're going to continue to maintain our frame, right? Continue to maintain, our character, uphold our integrity, no matter what. That is right. That is our mindset, to have a willing mind to do that which is good in the sight of Yahweh Shema Shai, as we walk in the fear of the Lord. It says, "Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction." Right? And a lot of our people, they want it easy. Jake doesn't want to challenge themselves. Jake wants an easy life here in America. Jake says they want things, but really, all Jake wants is an easy life. And Babylon the Great offers you the easy life via your entertainment and distractions. You're offered the easy life. You're offered a life, where you don't really have to try that hard. You see, it says, but to put your, flesh under subjection. To not go after your lust, to be disciplined, to be a disciple of Yahweh Shai. That's the narrow way. And that's the way that leadeth unto life. It says, "And many there be which go in thereat, because strait is the gate, because strait is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it." So only a few, that small remnant, are going to be standing up for righteousness, doing that which is good in the sight of Yahweh Shema Shai. Right, where everybody's out here partying, doing all, nothing wrong with having a party, but what are you doing at these parties? Nothing wrong with having a decent, enjoying yourself, stepping out, but what is Jake doing? They're going after, uh, uh, they're in the spirit of lasciviousness, unreframed lust, right? And it ought not be so with the men of Yahweh Shema Shai, with the men of the Lord. And this is why the Lord is constantly putting us in, these fiery trials where you have to perform. You can't just give into your lust and, do that which is displeasing. You got to perform, when the heat is on. Scriptures say, in your patience possess ye your soul. So when you're going through your fiery trials, you're supposed to have rule over your spirit, right? So when we jump to 2nd Ezra 7:3, yep. "And I said, Speak on, my power. It didn't say, Heat unto me. The sea is set in a wide place, that it might be deep and great. But put the case, the entrance were narrow and like a river." It says, "Who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad?" So the angel Uriel, speaking to the prophet Ezra, he's giving him a similitude of how the kingdom of heaven is, how now, we have to toil and fight, right, to do that which is righteous. As the old world, you know, things were a little bit more simple. Now you gotta you got sin everywhere. Sin is everywhere in this kingdom. It's everywhere. It's on every corner. It's on every TV commercial, right? It's everywhere. Sin is the biggest seller in this in this society. as this beast system, is not only here in America, but the nations have drunk enough for wine. It's everywhere. The earth has been given into the hands of the wicked, right? So this is a very narrow path. There's danger on every side, temptations, distractions everywhere. And this is why you gotta get locked in. This is why you gotta lock yourself in to the spirit, having, routines. You can't be defeated by the day, the hard work, the hell that a day brings. You gotta have routines of prayer, you gotta have routines of, watching videos at set times of the day, right? You gotta set systems up to fight these temptations. And if you don't, eventually you're gonna be overcome. At least Yahweh Shema Shai, gives you the strength to overcome these things. It says, but put the case, once again, verse 4 says, but put the case, the entrance or narrow like a river, who then, right, because a river flows, one way, one direction. It says, and it's tight. Who then could go into the sea to look upon it, right? And this sea, is symbolic for the kingdom of heaven. And first, before you can be a ruler in the kingdom of Yahweh Shema Shai, joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, here it is, any motivational speaker will always say it starts with you, it starts with ruling over your mind, you versus you. Yeah, and it is you versus you. And then with that knowledge and wisdom and understanding that we've been given, now you have to govern the world that is before your eyes, right? You've been made a governor over the world that Yahweh Shema Shai has put before you. You've been made a judge before the world that Yahweh Shema Shai has put before you, right? And as Job eschewed evil, right, who was upright and perfect, we must eschew evil, and continue to walk towards the path of righteousness. It says, who then could go into the sea to look upon it and to rule it? If he went not through the narrow, how could he come into the broad? There is also another thing. A city is builded. It says, a city is builded and set upon a broad field, and is full of all good things. Right? So the city that is builded and is full of all good things is the kingdom of Yahweh Shema Shai. It's full of all good things. Everything, one could desire, is being prepared for the elect of the Lord. Right? So everything, that you could desire and want, and long for, what is being prepared. You just gotta do the work to get there. You just gotta be willing to suffer as Yahweh Shai suffered. But not only suffer, suffering is not enough. You gotta perform in your suffering. It's not only enough to suffer. You gotta perform while you're suffering. You gotta do good while you're suffering. You have to have an attitude of gratitude while you're suffering. You see? It says the entrance there is narrow and is set in the dangerous place to fall. Right? Because we have started, as it says, enter ye in at the straight gate, where the straight gate starts here while we are captives here in Babylon. Right? This is where it starts. This is where, the path has begun. This is where we have begun moving forward, and we're in this dangerous place. This is a very dangerous place. where once again sin is everywhere, temptation, distractions, things that want to take your mind and attention from away from what's really important. You see, it says the entrance there is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water, and one only path between them both, right? Even between the fire and the water, so small that there could but one man go there at once. That's a very narrow path. But we got men before us who are walking that path, who are miles ahead of us. Some men who have actually finished their course. And as we look at Yahweh Shai, one who, has already finished his course, and we understand, we have a small understanding of what Yahweh Shai received, and, we understand the glory, but the fullness of that glory, we have to understand that we're fighting for that same crown. We're fighting for that same victory. That's what we're fighting for. Here as the hopeful members of the elect, right? The hopeful members of the Yahweh Shema Shai's elect. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, right? And the Lord, was looking for men who are worthy of this inheritance. You're not going to give your inheritance to a drunkard, someone who is a rioter, someone who's constantly, just wasting away their goods. No, absolutely not. The Lord is looking for those who, you know, who during this grace period, took things serious. Who during this grace period did what was most important. Most important, has faith and repented daily. All these guys want to make a name for themselves, and the glitz and glamour of this world, with the fashion of this world, is going to pass away. And those who are investing, right, in the world to come, those are the ones, those are the men and women and believers of Yahweh Shema Shai, who are going to receive that glory. You see, it says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before him, how shall he receive this inheritance? So you got to keep moving forward. If you don't pass the dangers, if you don't continue to move forward and continue to fight, how are you ever going to make it, to be a receiver of that inheritance? So with that, Lord's willing, you're edified. So next time I say shalom.